I sat down with Chris Grollnek, a leading expert on attack avoidance and prevention, and I discussed the San Bernardino shooting with him and the possibility of an ISIL-directed versus an ISIL-inspired attack.
If it was an ISIS-directed attack, and we still don't know factually if it was or not, but let's just go out on a limb and say it was not, because we don't have all the information. So if it was a directed attack, they would have weapons pre-placed, ammunition pre-placed, money put in accounts, facilities and people behind the scenes, kind of like technicians helping them run their operation, and then they would strike when told. So if it was more inspired, like this is looking like what it was, although it's similar to what I just described, this means that somebody was radicalized. They had started storing weapons, and the more we learn, it looks like he was radicalized by his wife. And as she talked to him, and they started their bomb-making adventure, if you will, and getting guns, they started putting together a plan. And it still looks like there's going to be some people behind the scenes that helped them, because there's way too much support and money that isn't accounted for of how they've got the materials and tools that they use to execute this type of attack. The training that it takes to get this type of successful, and forgive me for lack of a better term, but count of victims, a trained team would be, and I'm talking about a very special team, would train months to be able to achieve an over 51% rate of what they wanted to do, because they fired under 80 rounds, and yet they wounded 21 and killed 14.
And despite the differences, though, Chris, how much of a concern is self-radicalization when you have inspired instances like the one we seem to be seeing here? You know, there are reports that the wife pledged allegiance to ISIL, the leader of ISIL, on Facebook. What are your thoughts on how law enforcement agencies are trying to protect its citizens?
Well, I'm not sure that, I understand that she pledged allegiance to the leader of ISIL, and I get that, but I'm not sure that that is so much the key in investigating this as a terrorism attack as it is understanding that these people were talking to people on the FBI's terrorism watch list, and maybe the domestic terror or international terrorism watch list.
What should we look for next? What will be happening now in the coming days as we watch this case continue to unfold?
We know that active shooters, people that cause mass damage, whether it's a woman in a car at Oklahoma during a parade driving into a crowd of people because she's upset, or a teenager or a young man at a college shooting people randomly after questioning their religion, that these instances kind of spike. And this seems that it was just phase one. I think we stopped them at the end of the first attack. I think they had others planned with that many explosive devices that did not detonate, even though they should have. That means they didn't get to their second objective. So they didn't exactly achieve what they were hoping for, and it's my concern that others will try to finish where they left off, whether it's in San Bernardino or, you know, another city anywhere.